Hello and welcome back to the Checkpoint Reach podcast. This is a gaming podcast with the occasional movie news thrown in, and I'm your host, Luke Carlton. I'm also joined by my fellow gamers and friends, Sud, Matty and Perks. How you doing, guys?
Good, Luke. Very good. In the Christmas spirit around this festive time.
Yeah, I feel like only me and you are.
Yeah, I think the other two are Scrooges.
Yeah, Scrooge.
Yeah, well, you know I'm all about that Christmas spirit. Enjoyed myself so much last week. I'm back again, so...
Yeah. We're glad to have you back as well.
Yeah,
well, it's an honour to be here.
Hey, at least you sound better than last week, you know?
Yeah, it's basically like having a different person, so...
The horse flu's gone, so we're all clear now.
Don't get too carried away.
Well, we'll go into our first topic of the day anyway, which is Epic Games apparently are going to be sued again. This is coming from Fresh Prince star Alfonso Ribeiro, who's allegedly suing Epic Games for the Fortnite dance, which is the Carlton dance, which is actually quite a good dance. I like the dance, but what are our thoughts on this? I mean, it seems to be becoming a common theme with Fortnite of late, doesn't it? I mean, I remember, wasn't there alleged reports as well about the Scrubs actor? He was looking into suing them, or he had some qualms with them using his dance to poison. It seems to be becoming a regular occurrence. So, what are our thoughts on this news?
I mean, to be honest, Alfonso Ribeiro should just be grateful he's got that dance, because without it, he wouldn't be anything, would he, really? I suppose. But, I know he was a big star in Fresh Prince, but
he hasn't done much since.
No one would know him now if it wasn't for that famous, the famous dance scenes. No one knew who he was.
I think people would know him, but
they'd know who he was. But yeah, he wouldn't exactly be, And I know he won that Dance in the Stars, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he did the dance on it as well at the end.
Oh, no wonder he won.
Yeah. But to be fair to him, I mean, he does have a right, doesn't he, if they're using it illegally to sue him? So we can't really moan about it. But I don't know, it's a weird one, really, because I think, like you said, this isn't the first time, is it, that Epic have been in trouble for this? So it's
it's like
a common thing.
Yeah, Donald Faison from Scrubs, Turk. He plays the character Turk in that. He was mentioning something about it. I don't know. I don't think he went down the route of actually suing them, but yeah, it's becoming a common thing with Fortnite. I mean, Alfonso Ribeiro, what he reminds me of, I think of the Carlton dance, and I think of when he was in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Oh, yeah, I
remember
that as well.
The meme that went round.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that years. I'm a Celebrity was pretty good. But, I don't know, I mean, it's just, I suppose it's not good news for Epic, but I don't think they're going to care. No one's going to care, are they? No one's going to stop playing the game. Because he sued him. So, and to be honest, I mean, how much is he going to get from him? I mean, it's pocket change anyway. Whatever they sue him, it's pretty much pocket change for Epic now. So,
It would have been more of a loss for them losing the dance from Scrubs, because that's the no skin dance. That's like the most famous dance in the game, because it's the first dance that you unlock, isn't it, in the entire game? That everyone uses is just associated with being a noob in the game, is having a generic skin and doing that dance all the time.
That's pretty much my dance then, because that's the only dance I ever unlocked.
Yeah, I'm all about that no skin life.
Yeah, same. Forever a no skin.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, it's at Epic Games. Fortnite's doing well, so people are going to come out the woodwork because they see that it's doing well and try and make some money any way they can.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, like, Mr. Destiny, Jay Perkins, is in the lobby. Didn't they have that exact same dance in Destiny?
Yeah, exactly. So,
and he wasn't complaining then, because that wasn't in the limelight. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, well, apparently Fortnite's just brought a lot more sort of prominence to all the sort of emotes that incredibly popular these days, in particular with the younger generation. So yeah, now that they have a massive spotlight on them, I think they're a bit more prone to people trying to jump on them and claim some sort of, I don't know, would it be like royalties for using their dances within the game?
God, imagine if it was.
To be honest,
imagine if it was, how much money you'd make off a royalty if someone used that dance.
But apparently, I've read a little bit into this, and apparently the reason why this one is getting more headlines, well, obviously because it's Fortnite, so it's going to get more headlines anyway, because it's the biggest game in the world, but as well, apparently the difference is, because this Carlton dance, like you were saying, it's in Destiny, it's in Forza Horizon 4 as well. You can unlock it in that, as well as other dances. But apparently why this one is getting more attention is because, and why he's suing Fortnite is because you can actually buy it outright or something like that in Fortnite. Whereas apparently the other ones, you can't buy it outright or something. You have to, or you can either buy it outright or unlock it. And the difference is in Fortnite, you can literally only buy it. And apparently that's the reason why. I don't know the specifics on that, but that's what they were saying the reason was why you're suing them.
Yeah. So, well, that's interesting. So, say if you guys came up with a dance and then Epic, used it and it was your licensed dance or whatever, would you guys sue?
Yeah, I'd be suing them
if they're using it without my permission. Yeah.
Sick of it.
I think it's hard to sort of try and establish what is your dance, and how do you own a dance? What do you do? Do you like file for some kind of like dance patent or something like that? Like
well, this is the interesting
it's
thing.
a grey area, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, because I was wouldn't it be Fresh Prince's? I
was going to say,
and then wouldn't it be Fox's or whoever owned Fresh Prince?
I was literally about to say that. I was literally about to say, technically, wouldn't they sue the parent company of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Because wouldn't that it'd be the parent company, wouldn't it, rather than Carlton? Then Alfonso Ribeiro that should be suing, technically.
Yeah, that's why.
You'd imagine it's their property. I mean, maybe it isn't. Maybe he copyrighted it. Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe he did.
I mean, in Destiny though, it's literally called like the Fresh Dance. So I don't know why you'd apparently paint it yourself, but then call it the Fresh Dance anyway. Well, surely you'd call it the Carlton Dance or something, or the Alfonso or something like that. I don't know. I just don't. I think that they might just be testing the waters. These type of celebrities, even if they're B-list, like Alfonso Ribeiro is, probably C-list. You'll have some sort of lawyer that's like, Alfonso, we can make some money out of this. Let's just test the waters and see what happens.
Yeah, I'd go along with that.
Gotta be honest, I'm getting sick and tired of seeing these dances in like every game. Like you see it in Fortnite, you see it in Destiny, you see it it's even in a racing game now. I've been playing a lot of Forza Horizon.
How's it in a racing game?
Oh my god, it's so annoying. If you play that online on Forza Horizon, all everyone does is the floss dance. It's like, oh my god, when they win, just do the floss dance or some stupid dance.
Actually, since you mentioned the floss dance, apparently the 16-year-old backpack kid, as he's known, Russell Horning, is also suing Epic Games for using the floss dance.
What, is he claiming it's his? Or is it his?
Well, apparently so, yeah.
Yeah, because isn't there a lot of controversy about who originated it or who had invented the floss dance?
Mm-hmm.
Because some people are saying, "Oh, it was me," and then there's other people saying, "No, it was me." And it's like clearly someone wants to just be the one that was like, "Oh, look what I did."
Well, this is what I touched on before, right? How do you decide who invented things? How is there ever going to be a clear ownership of, and can you even own a dance as your own? It's a bit bizarre. But on the backpack kid, it's crazy because back when he was first doing it, I think they actually asked him if he would like something for having his dance within the game, and he was something along the lines of saying, "No, it's just cool that and he's happy that it's in the game and it's no big deal to him." And now obviously the game is the most popular game on the planet, and then all of a sudden he's jumping on the trying to sue Epic bandwagon to get something from it. So
all of a sudden he sees pound signs in his eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just seen that and thought he has to try and get anything he can from it, despite previously saying that he wasn't actually too fussed. So
wasn't there?
It's not going to wash, I don't think.
How far would you go? How far would you go, though, man? Sorry to interrupt. How far would you go? Backpack kid You know, is the inventor of the original rucksack going to come out of the woodwork and be like, well, you need to start paying me money for using the word backpack in front of your name? I never understand why they said it's like an endless, pointless war. Who invented what? It makes no sense.
Yeah, that was my point on the ownership before. It's a grey area, but it's the greyest area. Like you could never distinguish.
You can't. I don't think you can.
It's impossible.
That's a load of rubbish.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree, but unfortunately, there are trademark rules out there or legislations that allow you the opportunity to own things. I was just thinking then, how we were talking about people giving you the right to use something when you're a bit smaller, and then the more it takes off, obviously they then want a slice of the pie as well. Wasn't there a similar thing with Witcher? Didn't the guy who wrote the books or write the books, didn't he give them permission to use it, and then roll on 10 years later or something, after it's become such a success, now he wants more money?
Yeah, he was threatening to sue them, I think. If they didn't, I don't know if they've I think they might have settled out of court or something like that. Like, because I think CD Projekt Red just would rather just pay him off than have the publicity going to court and stuff, I imagine. So, yeah. I think there was something. Yeah, he basically let him have it, and then turned around and went, "Oh, actually,
yeah, that's made a lot of money. I want more.
Yeah, I'll have a bit more money." I mean, it might have been more complicated than that. There might have been other issues we don't know about, but it seemed like it was one of them where the guy's gone, "Oh, I didn't realise this was going to be a really successful video game."
Yeah.
And settling out of court, that gets to the crux of the issue with Alfonso Ribeiro as well. These people, they don't care about the money until they're skint, and then when they need a bit of money, it's like, what can I do? I imagine he's hoping for the same thing. Oh, maybe Epic, they won't be bothered with going to court and paying for lawyers. They'll just give him a few bob on the side. I mean, he was desperate enough to go on I'm a Celebrity and Dancing with the Stars, so I'm assuming he's skint.
I mean, he must have been short of a bit of cash. So.
Well, I don't actually remember him in anything other than Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, I'm not saying, yeah, but my point is, I'm not saying he hasn't done other projects, but surely he hasn't been paid that well since. And as Matty alluded to, going on reality TV shows would seem to indicate that's the case.
Well, it's made him a star again, hasn't it? Because people know him again now. He's actually quite a big star now.
True. I mean, Will Smith seems to bring him on talk shows just to do the dance.
Yeah, exactly. So, he's done well from that.
He just feels sorry for him.
He probably does.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably. Well, I guess time will tell with that one. We'll see how that unfolds. I imagine it'll probably be settled out of court, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Moving on to our next topic then, which is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has sold over 3 million units in just 11 days. And in addition to this news, the Nintendo Switch is now the fastest selling console of this generation through 21 months. I mean, what an impressive feat that is.
I think one thing I did actually look up on it, just to add, I think this was just US. So we'll just put that into account. So worldwide, I think PlayStation 4 is still the fastest selling. But I think in the US now, the Switch is the fastest selling over the first 21 months when they're both aligned.
Yeah, it's still crazy though, isn't it?
Still an amazing achievement, considering where Nintendo were after the Wii U. I mean, that console Wii U was just such a failure.
I feel
catastrophic failure.
I feel at one point though, everybody tried the Wii U. Nearly every house I went into, someone was like, "Yeah, I got a Wii U," and they don't even
it's
game.
Strange.
It was like a family thing.
Yeah,
I think more people had Wii's though.
And it's just condemned to the corner covered in dust and
grime.
Same.
On that topic, though, the Wii was the previous record holder.
Yes, you might be right about that. For the
same period of time. So it's like, no matter how shit it was,
I think
it still had the same success, even though obviously the Switch is a hell of a lot better.
The Wii was lightning in a bottle because it was the first console that appealed on a mass level to like middle-aged people and old people. Because of Wii Sports and Wii Fit and stuff.
Yeah, God, the amount of times I used to play Wii Bowling. I'm sure Perks must have come round at one point when, you remember the football lot? We'd all come round and we're just there playing Wii Bowling.
Yeah, it reminded me of the old iToy days, really, where you're trying to
God.
punch a hole through the TV while you're trying to control what's on the screen.
Wishy-washy, man.
Oh yeah, that was good.
God damn.
That was good fun.
That was fun.
The Wii was my most hated console because it had the most shovelware I've ever seen on any piece of hardware. I mean, you had Cheggers
Golden
Party
balls.
Quiz. Yeah, we've already seen golden balls.
Just for carrots, golden balls.
Just complete and utter shovelware. Every other game was just some piece of rubbish that had been made in 10 minutes. But to be fair to Nintendo, they've absolutely knocked out of the park with the Switch because I've owned one on a couple of occasions, and it is a really, really, really good console. It's just what people wanted Nintendo to do. They merged their handheld and their console into one, and they finally got it to a point where, yeah, they're not, maybe not console quality games on the go, to the point of AAA. You wouldn't be able to get Red Dead on there, but it serves a job. 80% of the games that are on Xbox One and PS4, you could probably just about squeeze onto the Switch if you try hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a really good achievement, and it is a really good piece of hardware. It's just simple, easy to use. It's what people wanted from Nintendo, and obviously the thing that's been driving sales is the amount of games on there. Because there was a lot of games in the Wii U that were just condemned to the graveyard that no one bought, and it was just an easy win for them. Oh, let's port them over to the Switch. There you go. The Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Wii U, port it over to the Switch, and everyone's like, this is brilliant. What is this game? It's a game that you could have played on the Wii U if you knew the console existed.
Yeah, it's an important point about the games as well as obviously the fact that the consoles are hybrid is, that's obviously one of the massive reasons why it's done so well, because that's what people wanted. But I think the games that are on it as well has made a massive difference. Coming out of the blocks with Zelda, was it 97 on Metacritic? An absolute masterpiece by all accounts. That helps, doesn't it, when you launch with a game like that as well. And then 6 months later, you've got Super Mario Odyssey, 98 on Metacritic, another masterpiece. And it's carried on, hasn't it? There's been a few dry spells. But, then you're looking at Pokemon and Super Smash Brothers. They're both, by all accounts, really good games as well. So they just keep delivering on the games, and it keeps it keeps making people buy Switches. There's more and more reasons people to buy Switches, the more games that come out.
Something that's been driving hardware sales massively over the last 3 months is Fortnite, because...
On the Switch, yeah. Makes sense.
It's 11, 12-year-olds. Oh,
Go
we're
to
addicted
school.
to Fortnite. Yeah, let's play Fortnite at school.
Hey, we did it back in the day with PSP, didn't we? People used to bring it into school and we played Football Manager.
That's a good point.
I wish I had. I wish when we were in school, we had good enough Wi-Fi to play Fortnite, or even in college, Wi-Fi was terrible. I couldn't imagine playing Fortnite on the Wi-Fi. It'd be terrible. You'd be lagging all over the place.
It would be virtually impossible. I even think back to uni days. The uni Wi-Fi that I went to wasn't that great, particularly. So I just struggled to play it on there. Whereas obviously kids these days pretty much play on the go.
Spoiled.
I think another reason as well with the Switch, it's seen now, isn't it, as the home of indie games as well now because of the portability factor. So that helps as well. I mean, I don't think indie games are going to drive in massive hardware sales, but they're certainly keeping interest on the console. So
it appeals to both ends of the spectrum. You've got hardcore gamers that are going to buy it to play indies on the go, and then obviously you've got the casuals that are going to buy it because it's Nintendo. And then in the middle ground, you've got kids who just want to buy it because it's the next thing that you can play Fortnite on.
Yeah, that's true. Going back to the indie thing as well, some of the sales figures are astounding. Certain indie games have sold 5 times as much on the Switch as on PS4 and Xbox One and stuff like that. And it's just, which is mad considering it's the lowest user base, the Switch, out of the 3.
Yeah, but it's what I said. It's like Stardew Valley. I read really good things about that game, good reviews for a long time. Obviously, never got around to playing it on the Xbox One, even though I downloaded it. And then as soon as I got it on the Switch, I played it all the time because it's I've got a 55-inch TV. I don't really want to be playing Stardew Valley, just walking around farming crops on that. I'd rather just sit in bed and do it,
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
I think it's a really good platform for games like that to excel because, like you say, they'll get lost in the sort of sea of all the AAA titles whilst they're on consoles, and whilst they are on consoles, in the Xbox and PlayStation terms, it just appeals in a completely different way with a with a handheld or with a hybrid, if you like. So I think it's the best place for them to be, and you've seen that success with it.
No,
and for as much as they keep releasing Mario 65,000 in whichever Smash Party Bros racing, it's going to keep doing well. So, roll on the Switch.
The thing is, though, people say that. It's like, it's the same thing with Halo, isn't it? Where it's like, oh, Halo's... The difference is that every single Mario game, mainline Mario game, is great. And every single mainline Zelda game is, on the whole, been great. And every single Mario Kart game is great. There's no let-up in quality. Whereas... you look at something like Halo or Gears, and there was a drop in quality, wasn't there? That's the reason people
they've had their dips, haven't they?
Yeah. Even Forza, Forza Horizon's been great, but look at the Motorsport series. I mean, no one really cares about the Motorsport series anymore because the quality went down. They started to introduce microtransactions. People got sick of it, and the Horizon series is the one everyone looks to now because it's a superior one.
Do they not have like Mario Mushrooms microtransactions or something like that?
I don't think. Well, Nintendo, they don't usually have as many microtransactions. There obviously there will be some.
They're slowly getting shit.
Yeah, starting to.
Microtransactions. Like, to be fair to them, of all the games that you could put microtransactions in, I am shocked that they haven't put microtransactions in Pokemon, because they would make so much money from putting microtransactions.
God, they really would.
Oh, you can to get another Master Ball or whatever they'd be doing, or like a quid for a rare candy.
Oh, people would do it in a heartbeat.
I know they would.
Well, actually, this is a question for you, Mark, because I know obviously Smash Brothers just come out. You know more about it than me. Have they got microtransactions in Smash Brothers, like for buying
they've got a season
costumes?
Pass. So they've got like an expansion pass where. So I think that's one of the first times.
Yeah,
they did it for Zelda with the 2 expansions.
Yeah,
but it's the first time that they've done a sort of expansion pass. I think for
makes sense, doesn't it? Though
I think they might have done it for Mario Kart on the Wii U.
Yeah.
But this is the first sort of big one I can remember. A lot of people bought it as well.
Have you bought it?
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I haven't bought the expansion pass, no.
No, but you've bought Super Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Well, what's your opinions on the game?
I haven't really had that much chance to play it, unfortunately. But from what I've played, it seems like it's going to be the same as every other Smash Brothers, but polished.
Yeah.
Well, 3 million sales in 11 days. And that's, that's pretty crazy. So
pretty good, isn't it? I mean, it's consistent. Yeah. Well, I've also read rumors that Microsoft and Sony are looking to copy what Nintendo have done to produce a hybrid sort of console. Do you guys think they will? Or
Microsoft? I don't think.
I don't think so. No.
Sony won't go back into the handheld game after the Vita.
The two, obviously, Sony would be the more likely to do it. I don't think Microsoft... Well, to be honest, you could argue that Microsoft are already going to try and do it through mobile.
Yeah, but that's Microsoft are already doing it. Yeah. Like they're making this streaming service. Yeah. So, you'll be playing Halo on your bloody tablet or whatever in 10 years, probably.
Which is probably the more sensible idea, because the future is going to be tablets and things like that, isn't it, for gaming? So,
I really like the idea, like, if you have your Xbox on at home, like they were trying to do this. I tried to do this myself. But it didn't work just because of internet limitations in backwards North Wales. But if you have your Xbox on at home on Instant On, and you have like your tablet with you, and obviously you're connected to the Wi-Fi at home, and you're connected to the Wi-Fi wherever you've got your tablet, you can sort of like remotely stream the game to your tablet. Because I was trying to get that to work with like some indie games, so I could just play. Well, it was actually Stardew Valley at the time at lunch, because I was like, this is the only way I'm going to play it, because I just don't really play it on my TV. Mm-hmm. But it just it didn't work properly. So if they can get stuff like that to work, it'd be really good.
That does sound
that has limitations though, doesn't it? Because it relies on pretty much having fiber optic wires to make it work. You can't really rely on the old school sort of copper cables to pull something like that off, especially if you're talking about the higher end games. It's not practical.
Perks, but in probably a couple of years' time, they're going to start rolling out 5G internet as well on your mobile, which is 100 megasecond plus.
Not in North Wales, it's not.
Well, no.
Yeah, that's
Wales, but, if you're living anywhere, if you're living in somewhere that isn't, a third world country, then they'll have 5G, and then you won't even need Wi-Fi. It'll work as long as you've got 5G, because if that's actually, running at more than 100 megs, you'll easily be able to stream any games.
Don't get me wrong, I really like the idea. It's just the practicalities of it in the, I don't want to say foreseeable future. Yeah, it's something that they're relying on other things to make work. So
this is exactly what we moaned about on day one of the Xbox One when Don Matrick and stuff had this vision for the Xbox. It's like, that's fine having that vision, but it's almost like they live in the city where there's ridiculously fast internet and everything's interconnected, and they think it's like that everywhere. Like they've never been to like a rural town. They've never been to like the countryside or something where someone's on like dial-up. It's like, well, he isn't going to be using the online-only Xbox because it's going to take him 40 years to download the next patch for the game.
Yeah.
Like by the time the stream connects from the console to his tablet, he's 6 feet under, so it doesn't matter for him anyway.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, actually, me and Sud struggle to download updates these days. Yeah,
but that's what Microsoft are doing. Like, I feel like, yes, it is the future, but you need to slowly wean it in and not just like pull the rug from under people's feet like they tried to do with the Xbox One and just go, right, online only's here. No, it isn't. It's nowhere near ready. You need to just slowly implement this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, their sales took a big hit as well for trying to pull the rug from underneath people, like you said. Well, speaking of Xbox, though, their codenames have been, reportedly? They've been reportedly announced.
They've been leaked, I think.
Yeah. The next generation Xbox consoles are reportedly codenamed Anaconda and Lockhart.
You gotta love these code names, haven't you? They always come up with.
Well, Lockhart just reminds me of Harry Potter.
Yeah, it actually does. Yeah. Maybe that's the console that comes with his face on the box. Gilderoy Lockhart with crying face.
Yeah. That's right.
I think the interesting thing.
Durango, wasn't it?
Durango was Connect, yeah. There's been some weird ones, hasn't there? There's a few weird ones for Nintendo as well in the past, but I think the most interesting thing about this news is we already kind of thought this might happen with the two console thing at launch, but it pretty much seems that this is going to pretty much guarantee there's going to be two consoles SKUs for Xbox at launch in 2020, which has been rumoured for a while, and I think makes sense personally because they're kind of hedging their bets either way then, aren't they? Obviously one of the consoles is supposed to be, the traditional fully powered Xbox One X style powerful console that's going to cost £500, and then they're going to have the rumored streaming console that's going to be significantly lower. So,
well, yeah, there's apparently this report. There's apparently going to be 3 SKUs, so you're going to get the sort of Anaconda's from what I understand, is the expensive one. That's basically going to be like an Xbox One X, but a next generation version of the Xbox One X, like you said. And then there's just a standard next generation Xbox that's sort of, like the S in the middle ground. And then obviously separate to all of that, they're going to have a streaming console with no optical drive as well.
Yeah.
Which obviously is going to undercut everything because it's...
because it has to.
Yeah, it has to.
Yeah, it's got no choice.
Fantastic idea. I actually think this could work really well for them, depending on what PlayStation do next gen, because, there's going to be a lot of poorer people and parents and stuff like that are going to go to that streaming box, I think, because, if it's really cheap as well, people are just going to go for that option. People always go, they look when new consoles come out, the cheaper one usually does better. It's not a hard thing to work out, and there's reasons for that.
How cheap do we think this might be?
I mean, it's not going to be like ultra cheap. I still think it's going to be. I mean, you're probably looking at if the
150 quid at a guess. I don't know what it has though. Is it just a streaming box? Because if it's just a streaming box, you can make it 50 quid.
Well, there's no disc drive, is there? There's no disc drive, and it's going to be streaming. Apparently, I mean, we don't know, do we? They could
what's
combine
the actual components inside the console.
Well, that's it. Yeah, we don't know, do we? We don't know what. We don't have any details on that, so we're just guessing at this point.
If it's a streaming box, it's basically just like a Fire TV stick that costs like 30 quid. So it just depends.
Well, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, because
it actually is.
You could, like you said, I mean, if it is a streaming, then there's a lot of things they don't need to include in it. So Yeah, you could be right. It could be as cheap as 150, something like that, which would be massive. I think that'd be a massive thing for a lot of people. Especially if it comes, say, installed, which I think this is what they're going to do. I think they're going to come installed with Game Pass on, like a year's Game Pass or something like that.
I think that would
and
be
maybe a year of Xbox. I wouldn't even be surprised if they combine the two at some point, combine the Gold and Game Pass together, and maybe instead of what do we pay now, £40 a year, maybe it's going to be £60 a year, something like that, or £80 a year, but you get Game Pass as well, which I'd be fine with. I'd be happy to pay.
Wouldn't be a bad bundle, really.
That's what I was going to say. I'd be happy to pay an extra 20 if you've got Game Pass with it as well. I'm paying £8 a month for Game Pass as it is at the minute. So,
I think it's a good idea. Actually, it's an incentive if you're a regular sort of Gold member and you're looking to pick up Game Pass on a regular basis. Then it's a really good idea to make it discounted in that way and combine them both. So I think that couldn't possibly be a negative for anybody, especially if you're talking about a streaming only box. Then why would you not do that? Basically.
Well, that's it. I think all four of us would probably do it because I know, obviously, even you, Pers, I know you don't play as many games as you used to, but if it was only an extra £20-30 a year, why not? Because that's not much really, is it, over a whole year, and you're getting Game Pass. So
yeah, like I said, I used the word incentive. That would probably push me in that direction, rather than just having the two standalone, and that's where it stops at the moment. But I think, as with anything these days, having the choice to come at it from a few different angles would definitely bring people in, and that's exactly what they'd want with something like that.
I'd have to think if they had the streaming service with that bundle, that would sell really well.
Yeah, I think so. I think it will. That's why I think next gen is really up for grabs. I still, if I had to make a prediction now, I still think PlayStation will be on top, just because they've got the mind share already, and they've already got the user base, and they've got people that don't necessarily want to transfer all their content over and their trophies over. And, once you're into an ecosystem, it's hard, isn't it, to leave it behind sometimes. A lot of people don't like leaving things behind.
Yeah,
so I think that's going to be a problem. Yeah, it's going to be a problem, Microsoft, to try and get them people. But I do think it's going to be closer than this generation, next gen. I don't think Sony will have a monopoly like they have this gen.
It feels like Microsoft are making really positive moves.
Yeah. Definitely, I think so. I think they've done well. I think the last couple of years, you can't really fault them for what they're trying to do. You can fault them for the lack of first-party games, but apart from that, they're not really doing anything wrong, are they?
Well,
everything else about the console is great. I mean, I love the Xbox One X. I think it's a fantastic console. I really do. I think it's one of the best consoles ever made. I'd probably go as far as to say it's one of the best consoles ever made. I really do think that. And yes, you have to pay
hardware as well made. Like obviously the games aren't. If you're talking about a platform, that's the games. Obviously the games aren't as good as they've ever been on there. I'm also interested to see like the out of these three, the one that I'm really interested to see is that top of the line one, because I'm like very intrigued to see how far they're going to push the boat out with that. Because 450 for a mid-gen upgrade with an X was a lot, but the X has sold really well compared to what I think they thought it was going to do.
Well, hasn't it sold? Was it? I don't know if you saw this, Matt. Apparently, this year the X has outsold the S, hasn't it? In the US, anyway. I don't know about.
I could potentially see that.
In the UK,
trade-in deals as well on Microsoft have promoted in retail stores. But this Anaconda, or whatever it's codenamed, I personally think it might be as high as like £600.
Really?
It's a lot of money. I mean,
that is a lot.
Some people would buy it though. I mean, I'd probably buy it.
I think you and Matty would definitely buy it.
Yeah. Although having the Xbox One X would probably make me slightly less inclined to buy it straight away, only because I do think they're going to run the games on the X. I think the games that come out next generation at the start will run on the X. I'm convinced of it.
Yeah, I said that in a previous podcast. I'm sure. I was actually convinced of it. If they make 3 SKUs for this new Xbox, and then they let current games run with the X as well, it's just going to be so confusing. Like, that's the main thing they need to focus on is how can they get their message across properly. Like, because that's 4 consoles that are all playing the same games, and it's like parents and stuff come in and they're just like, what's the new PlayStation? Oh, this is the PlayStation 5. It plays PlayStation 5 games. It's a simple message. Whereas if they come in and go, what's the latest Xbox, and you have to tell them 4 different versions of it that all run the same games, it just becomes confusing.
I think this is the risk with what's the terminology they use? The Xbox family of consoles.
Yeah, the family of consoles.
Yeah. So unless you're sort of understanding it yourself, which, we all do, because I think, well, at least 3 of us would fall into the category of hardcore gamers. It's really clear and obvious to us, but I think like you've touched on there with, if somebody's parents were going into a shop and trying to understand something which probably sounds like gobbledygook in terms of a family of consoles and which is the newest and which is the best and which is the most convenient, it could potentially blur the lines, and Microsoft don't need that. They don't need the next generation to be like this generation was at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So they have to be able to sort of clarify and make it obvious to people. They're obviously not going to come away from the family terminology, but they have to be making it clear and obvious to everybody.
Their marketing has to be on point.
Gamers.
If they get their marketing right, then this will work.
They're halfway there.
Yeah, exactly. But if they don't, then they're obviously going to struggle. And I definitely agree with Matty's point. With family members coming in to buy, as a gift, you don't want to really confuse them too much, because they will go for the safer option of, I heard PS5. There you go. I know that's the newest one. I don't need to choose between 4 because I could get it wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that is assuming that PS5 is just going to be one SKU.
That's true.
It seems like that's probably
what you're
going to do.
I think it will be.
Do you think Sony, after seeing these rumored leaks from Microsoft, wouldn't be tempted to make different SKUs, different tiers of console?
I don't know.
They'd be less inclined to do it because the PS4 Pro, as much as they'll try and tell you that it's a success, it was a complete and utter flop.
Yeah, it didn't do as well as I thought, did it? I mean, they obviously thought it was going to be a big success, but then the X came out and kind of outperformed it, really. I think it outperforms PS Pro on pretty much 99% of the third-party games. There might be the odd exception, but as a whole, the X is the superior one now. But I think what Sony are going to do is I think they're just going to try and make the most powerful console they can, because I think Sony want the power back. Mm-hmm. I think they don't want that to be an issue next generation. They're going to want the PS5 to be the most powerful console. So I think they're just going to try and make it as powerful as possible.
This is why I think Microsoft are going to really push the boat out with that second SKU, so they can still have the power game under their belt.
Well, that's it.
Sony can't, if you make a PS5, if they're only doing one SKU and it's 600 quid, people aren't going to buy it. It needs to be in that magic sort of 300, between 300 and 400. If you go over that just on the PS5 in general, it's always a harder sell.
Do you think? I don't know what your guys' opinion on this is. Thinking about that with PlayStation, do you think to try and, like you were saying, Luke, maybe Sony will think of another 2 different SKUs, but do you think they'll maybe use the PS4 Pro as their second SKU and go, well, look, we're going to be able to run PS5 games on the PS4 Pro?
No, it's not powerful.
Do you not think so?
It's
do you think
it's enough RAM and the CPU's crap? So
yeah,
the PS4 Pro they will forget about as soon as possible.
I just feel like it's about. I think it's a risky strategy from Sony just to go with one SKU.
So do I, especially if Microsoft do pull this off, because they have to be competitive then, Sony.
It could be another PS3 situation where it's $599 US, and Microsoft might say the same thing, but then Microsoft could say, yes, but look, we've got one for $399 US and one for $299 US. It's a risky strategy for Sony, I think. So maybe you're right, Luke. Maybe, for all we know, they could have another SKU up the sleeve. We don't know what's going on at Sony, but there's not been any rumours about Sony doing different SKUs. So
yeah, I just think from business sense they might be worried about getting undercut.
Yeah, I'd have thought that. I mean, it would make sense to me. I mean, as much as I said, I think they'll still win the generation. I do think they'll probably still win next generation, but it could all change. Things change quickly. Not just in life, but in life and just with consoles. in the game industry, things change quickly. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But
yeah, it is a time thing. We will see. What do you think, Perks? Do you think Sony are likely to bring out different levels?
I'm gonna say that, and I'm not going to sit on the fence with this one. I think they're going to go hard or go home on one, just on the basis that they've succeeded with a sort of clear and linear message in the past, where Microsoft was sort of muddying waters with, in terms of, I think back to, the Xbox One OG version, if you like, where when it was released, there was a bunch of misunderstanding. And at Sony's conference, they kind of just came out and said, look, this is what you do. It's really straightforward. It's really simple. This is what we are.
Yeah, didn't
and they've
Xbox
succeeded with that before.
A home system.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of, we all remember it was one of the most prominent things of the next gen back then, if you like, was nobody really understood what the Xbox One could or couldn't do. Could you own games? Could you trade them in? Was it locked to you as an owner on that one console? There was a bunch of confusion with loads of different questions, and Sony succeeded by simply just coming out and saying, no, this is the games console, this is what it is, straight down the middle, and it was really clear to everybody. So I think they will, as much as I do definitely agree that they might be worried about being undercut or not having as much to offer, I think they'll probably stick with the straight down the middle option and just basically say, look, it's worked before, why wouldn't it work again?
Do you know what's ironic as well, actually, is, what could actually ironically happen for Sony is if they do what Perk said and double down and just go hard on a really expensive console that's really powerful, they could keep the hardcore audience, but they might find they lose the casual audience.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the casual audience, I said before about, a lot of people, especially hardcore gamers, they don't want to lose their content and they don't want to lose their trophies and they don't want to lose their friends on PlayStation, but I don't think the casual audience cares as much about things like that. I don't think they care about switching or losing content or things like that as much. Mm-hmm. So I think, ironically, actually, it could play into Microsoft's hands.
I think it definitely pushed casual gamers towards Microsoft. Because if you're a casual gamer, you don't want to pay 500 quid for a console if you can buy something that's £299.
Exactly.
Especially if you're playing the same games in a casual basis, you typically, I know I'm generalizing when I say this, but it's more the third party stuff anyway, so exclusives and such aren't really a big deal. So if you can access that for a much cheaper option, then why wouldn't you?
Yeah, at the end of the day, if people are going to be able to play the next FIFA, the next Call of Duty, Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite. Well, there's not going to be, it's probably going to be the same Fortnite, isn't it? But you know what I mean? Like, the next sort of Destiny games, like, games that a lot of casual fans, pick up when they launch, games like that, then that's going to be, they're not going to care, are they, about why would they buy a console £300 more expensive?
I think in sort of, we'll be able to look back at this in hindsight once the launches of the new Microsoft and Sony systems arrive. But for the here and the now, I don't think there's an obvious one that's going to succeed over the other. It's just very much a case of wait and see, and we'll see exactly how Microsoft manages to pull off its next launch, and hopefully it does a little bit better than its previous one.
Yeah, it's all to play for, definitely.
Yeah.
There was a finance option in America that Microsoft recently rolled out where it's like a 24-month contract to pay for the Xbox One X, similar to a phone. And for that entire 24 months, you get Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass.
Pretty good.
I think that would be a really good option for them to try and roll out, not just in the US, but into as many regions as they can through obviously through their retail partners and their online partners, because obviously consoles are becoming more expensive, but mobile phones have become more expensive as well, and people still buy them. But obviously they don't pay £1,000 for an iPhone 10 up front. They pay for it over 24, 36 months or whatever. So I feel like that might be the future for these sort of more expensive consoles that are really easy way for people to pay for their consoles.
I do think what Microsoft are going to do now, though, is after I think they have definitely learned from the Xbox One reveal in 2013. I think they're definitely from now on going to give people options. Like Matt said, they might do the subscription thing where they go, you can pay £50 a month for the next 24 months, or you can buy it for £500 outright. I think they're definitely going to go for the options, because that way people can't really moan, can they, as much, because it's like, well, we'll give you 2 options, you know.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, if they did do like a similar thing with phones, a contract base, I think I would go for the more expensive console, because
would you go for the contract option?
Yeah, I think I would
really?
if it was the more expensive one, because unlike you guys, I'm not going to buy that outright, unless someone buys it me as a present, is kind enough to do that. I'm not going to buy the most expensive one. So I think a contract would appeal to me more. Yeah,
I mean, it could do. I think a lot of people would, because especially nowadays, like you said, because I mean, we all have phone contracts, don't we? It's normal. Mm-hmm. But you go back 10 years, not many people had a phone contract 10 years ago, or 15 years ago. I mean, well, there wasn't phone contracts 15 years ago, but when they were first being rolled out, was it about 2008, 2009? They started phone contracts, maybe a bit before that.
Probably around there.
Yeah. But, everyone was like, oh, do you remember at first everyone was like, well, that's not going to catch on, as if anyone's going to do that. And now everyone does it.
Well, the funny thing is, though, that a more rolling contract like pay-as-you-go is starting to make a bit of a comeback.
Yeah, that is true, but I don't think it's going to...
Because I've recently switched to something like that.
Yeah.
I must admit I have as well. I paid off the previous contract and now I've just kind of settled where I am for the time being until I'm ready to upgrade. But as a sort of crossover, then there could be people doing that with consoles as well, right? They could take out a contract and finish that one and then think, right, I'm not quite ready for the new one. I'll stick with this version of an Xbox 75Z or whatever the next one gets called eventually.
Yeah.
And
well, I wonder
so who knows? It could definitely take off. It's just I wonder about the initial reception of a console contract, if it's going to be as well received as I think it should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, just going back to that point just quickly on the phone contract thing with you saying about the rolling contract, do you think they would do the same thing possibly as a film where it's like you can carry on but it's just at a reduced rate or something? Or
well, the thing is with the rolling contract, you usually have already paid off your original contract,
of course, yeah,
so you own the handset.
Yeah, that makes sense then. Yeah, that would make sense.
The majority of the contract you pay for is paying for the cost of the device.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when you paid for the device, then, I mean, you could carry on paying like £3-4 a month for Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass if you wanted to, but I don't think many people would bother. It's just a way of helping people with that cost, because like I said, I think consoles are going to become more expensive next generation. I think the base PS5 and the base next generation Xbox are going to at least be 400. So if there's a upgraded Xbox on top of that, I'm predicting like 600-700 quid, to be honest with you.
It's a lot of money.
It does appeal to hardcore gamers, because there's a lot of things. Like, I'd probably buy one. I mean, I'd want a lot of things in there, like a solid state hard drive, so everything loads instantly.
I mean,
but this talking a lot of money. You get into that price range and you can start affording it. People will pay for the best. If you tell people this is the best console, people don't want, especially with Microsoft, because they've got the advantage of, look, they're not a PC. The Xbox isn't a PC, but it's as close to a PC as you can get in a console at the moment. And people don't want, as much as Mike in his basement sitting there will tell you that people.
He has a name now.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Basement Mike.
It's really easy to build a PC. It's really easy. Yeah, it is, but a lot of people don't want to pay £600 for a graphics card alone that they could potentially fuck up building a PC on their own. People haven't got the money spending £2,000 on PC parts to build a top of the line PC. Like, people just want to buy something that is complete. And if Microsoft make something that is like 700-800 quid, but it is fantastic for what you get, easy to like, and it runs everything at 60 frames a second, 4K, top of the line specs. A lot of PC gamers, like hardcore PC gamers, might be tempted by that, or people that want to get into the sort of PC market but don't really want to build a PC, or haven't got the money to be paying like 1,500 quid. They'll probably be interested in that. There is like a niche in the market, so I feel like they should really, really go hard. If they're making an upgraded next gen console on day one, it should be pushing the boat out. It should be, have all the bells and whistles, because what's the point in doing a half measure? if you're going to make the sort of most powerful console, make it the most powerful console.
I feel like this is what the tiers levels allows them to do, though. Really push hard for the top tier, like you said, and aim for the people who want the best. Because you've always got the fallback of going, well, okay, guys, if you can't afford that, don't worry, we've got this. You know?
Yeah, that's the great thing about options, isn't it? Like you said, that's the great thing about what they're trying to do. People can't really moan, that's probably not the best way of saying it, but people know they've got
People can always moan.
Yeah, people can always moan. I'm sure there'll be Xbox fans that will moan them regardless of how many SKUs they've got. But they've always got another option, though. So that's the great thing about it. Whereas if you go with Sony and you don't like the PS5 and you don't, it's like, well, you're stuck with it. That's it. There's only one SKU. You know, if you don't like the price of it or you don't think it's worth the money, then what are you going to do? You're either going to buy one or you're going to stick with your PS4 or you're going to get an Xbox.
Yeah.
I think Matty nailed it right at the beginning, to be honest, when he said that people will buy the best thing. So people will always be prepared to buy the best thing. Now, I'm not saying the best Xbox, if the PS5, in whatever it turns out to be, is better than the highest tier Xbox, the Anaconda or whatever, then the best will get sales, regardless of how much it costs. People have the best phones, they have the best laptops, the best PCs, the best TVs to play the best consoles on. People will be prepared to pay high-end prices for the highest-end products, and that absolutely summarizes it for me.
What wasn't it? PS3's tagline when that came out and was advertised, it was the most powerful console.
Yeah.
And look exactly what the Xbox One X did. It took over with that. And how much did you hear that as the plug? The world's most powerful console, the most powerful console ever.
I think that was an actual active dig at Sony, though.
Yeah, it probably was.
Powerful console because they had to delete the advertising off their
yeah, that was funny actually, wasn't it? Consoles. Yeah, that was hilarious because PS4 Pro came out and they were saying, "Oh, look, the most powerful console in the world," and then it was.
Well, no, it wasn't just PS4 Pro. It was PS4 since day one. PS4's advertising was the world's most powerful console.
I don't know if you remember, they changed, didn't they? They changed from the PS4 Pro did say world's most powerful, and they changed to supercharged PS4 because they had to, because they couldn't say most powerful anymore.
Yeah, it's just like on the back of the box it says dynamic 4K gaming.
Yeah, and we all know that means basically most games don't run 4K on the PS4 Pro.
A way of making something that's actually a negative sound like a positive. Dynamic.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Right.
Not spin.
Well, I think we covered that topic pretty well, and I'm really intrigued to see the next generation of consoles, that's for sure. And we're actually going to finish today on a bit of a festive feel because obviously Christmas is just around the corner. So we're actually going to finish on a Christmas topic, and it's a simple one. What is your favourite Christmas film? I guess Can
I just say before we start, I've actually got my Christmas jumper on, so I was very prepared.
Jeez.
Yeah, so
I can
have a Christmas jumper.
I do, yeah.
I own two as well. I own a Christmas shirt.
Surely you've got one for where you work, Matt. You must have a Christmas jumper up there somewhere.
Yeah, I bought like 50 of the Fortnite ones.
You're gonna hand them out to the homeless?
No, I just got a different one for every day.
The 50 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
50 days of Fortnite Christmas.
Retail, there's like 100 days of Christmas. They were playing Christmas adverts in like July.
Yeah, I know all about that. Yeah.
No, that's true. Well, me and Sud are definitely the most festive here, as Sud has alluded to with his Christmas jumper. And I'll start with my favourite Christmas film, and it's A Christmas Carol with the Jim Carrey version, though, where the animated version. I really love that film. I think it's really good.
Well, I was thinking about Christmas Carol, saying Christmas Carol, but I'm not sure. I don't think I'd choose the Jim Carrey version.
Oh, the Jim Carrey version's good.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a huge fan of Jim Carrey, got to be honest. But no, Christmas Carol. I mean, just the story's good, isn't it?
I feel like it's going to be Perks when he's older.
Scrooge.
Going to get visited
already.
Going to get visited by ghosts and take you through your life.
It's more like Perks is one of the ghosts, I think. The way it's going.
I think I'd prefer that than watching the film.
Yeah. So Christmas Carol you'd choose then, yeah?
Well, it was between Christmas Carol. I've got three, really. Well, I've got four, but the fourth one I'll talk about in a minute.
Okay.
But the three is obviously Christmas Carol, Elf, and Polar Express.
Oh God, I haven't seen that.
That's a really
no,
good film.
I can't.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
Actually beat Tom
is
Hanks.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is true. I love Tom Hanks, but I don't know. I think one of my favorites is probably The Grinch. I like The Grinch. Yeah, I thought it was really good. Like, I'm not saying I don't know if it's my favorite. I'm gonna have to think about this because The Grinch is definitely up there. I do like The Grinch, but what about Home Alone as well? That's
Oh yeah, of course, Home Alone.
The first one, obviously. I mean,
I watched the second one last night actually, and it's
the second
really
one's
good.
alright, but it's the first one's obviously
Donald Trump?
the original.
I did.
Now that it's been pointed out about 1,000 times.
I know.
Oh yeah, he's in the film. Yeah.
Home Alone.
He's like, which way to the desk? He's like, round there and to the left. And then he just looks back and walks up.
Cockney.
Donald Trump, the Cockney version.
Home Alone.
Yeah. But great films, actually, Home Alone. Completely forgot about it. I didn't even know I watched it last night.
What are the notable films? I'm trying to think of other notable Christmas films. I mean, obviously, this is, well, we were talking off air about this. I disagree with you. I don't think Die Hard. We were talking about Die Hard, weren't we?
Die Hard's a Christmas film.
Yeah, for me, it's not a Christmas film. I'm sorry.
Why are we getting into this debate?
It is not a Christmas film.
It's a Christmas film.
It came out around Christmas, but it is not a Christmas film.
In the film, it's Christmas time, and he's trying to get home for Christmas.
Time, but that doesn't mean it's a Christmas film.
Is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone a Christmas film?
It can be in parts.
It's not a Christmas film.
No, I know what he's doing. That's why.
Is Judge Dredd a Christmas film?
That's just a terror. That shouldn't even be classed as a film.
That's the worst film I've ever seen.
The worst film that me and Luke have ever seen.
I mean, I don't even know what to choose because I literally hate all Christmas films.
What, you don't like?
What, you don't like Home Alone?
No. I actually don't like Die Hard.
Oh, what? How can you not like Die Hard?
I've got to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of it. It's all right, yeah. It's not a terrible film. I think it's a bit overrated.
I think the worst Die Hard's number 4, and me and Perks went to the cinema to watch that.
Yeah.
He destroyed a helicopter with a car.
Yeah, well, me and Perks went to the cinema to watch Resident Evil Extinction, so you can't be that for terms of atrocious movies to watch.
I can. Us 4 went to watch Judge Dredd, which we just talked about, and that is the worst film I've ever seen.
Evil was worse.
Yeah, Judge Dredd was awful.
Resident Evil Extinction, about halfway through the film, a load of zombies come out of shipping containers, right? One shipping container, a generic shipping container, literally like 4,000 zombies come out of it. So you tell me how they fit in that container and get back to me, please. You can write to me.
I don't know, but this is my kind of Christmas film. Like that's my idea of the holiday season. 4,000 zombies running out of a container, and yeah.
But does it have slow motion in it?
Oh, what was it?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
No, so then it's better than Judge Dredd already. No slow motion.
Oh, do you remember that scene? Oh my god!
She's in the
it's not that scene. It's plural. It's those scenes.
And do you remember the weird?
It's about 75% of the film.
Do you remember the weird
slow
trippy
motion
music as well that played every time it came on? Like,
It was LaRue, and 2, it wasn't chippy. It was good music.
It was terrible. It was an awful film that should be banished from history. As far as I'm concerned.
Moving back, because I know Perks, at least he likes Die Hard. So I'll ask him, is it a Christmas film to you, Perks, or not? I think I know the answer.
It's a film that's set at Christmas, so...
Don't sit on the phone.
No, don't sit on the phone.
Like, if that by definition makes it a Christmas film, then maybe, but no, Die Hard's not a Christmas film.
It's in the Christmas category on Sky.
Listen, Die Hard is a good film, therefore it can't be a Christmas film because Christmas films are shit. So
it's one of your favourite films. You just don't want it to be associated with Christmas.
It's not one of my favourite films. It's just a good film, and there's just a list of 0 that fall into that category on Christmas terms. So
next you're going to tell me you don't like Sprouts.
Who likes Sprouts?
Yeah, who does like Sprouts?
Me.
That's like, do you know what? That's a good segue actually, because I was about to say, what's everyone's favourite like Christmas food, like, or what's everyone's favourite bit on a Christmas dinner?
Pigs in blankets, easy.
Yeah, I mean they've got to be up there, haven't they?
I mean, unfortunately, Perks will only be eating rice this Christmas because he can't eat other foods.
Yeah, I'll muster some broccoli, don't worry.
Oh, hang on though, Luke. What about a nice roast potato? You can't beat that.
I'm not a massive fan of potatoes.
Oh,
You're
roast
advocating
potatoes,
that a potato is the best part.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, I've got to stick up
He is a
for
potato.
my brethren, haven't I? Yeah, so,
Is potatoes advocate?
Oh
so
my
I've got to
God.
stick up for the potatoes.
You're a cannibal. Why are you eating your own family?
They're just too tasty. I'm sorry, I can't help it. They're just too good. What about Yorkshire puddings as well? Come on.
Yeah, but Yorkshire puddings and stuff you can eat any time of the year. Pigs
Yeah,
and
but who
blankets.
does?
Any Sunday
Yes, but
dinner.
who does eat Yorkshire puddings any time of the year? I don't.
Well,
I only
Sunday
have them
dinner.
at Christmas.
Oh, it's a
Yeah, I
simple
mean,
concept.
yeah, I know, but there's something special about Yorkshire
You've got enough
puddings at
Sundays
Christmas.
in the year. Like, it's not just a
Yeah,
Christmas
I
day.
just, yeah, I know, but no, I like Yorkshire puddings. What does it? Okay, this is a good one. What does everyone have for dessert?
Why is this a question? What do you
Because I
mean?
don't have. Because I don't know. Because
I have
don't-
cheesecake.
You've ran out of material.
yeah, I was going to say because I'm going to say none of us like Christmas pudding because it's absolutely
I hate mince
disgusting and
pies.
vile.
I hate Christmas
mince
pudding.
pies. So.
Oh, mince pies are scum.
Ugh.
Horrible.
So you have cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
Say I go for chocolate fudge cake, but you know, it's just me. Bit of ice cream, you know, nice little thing to have after your
Pretty
dinner.
much like any time you go out for food, then, yeah?
What's your
I don't like
no
that.
fish and chips for Christmas dinner?
I was going to say I might ask for. I might just ask for fish and chips.
Yeah, and he'll leave the
Christmas
peas
Oh,
just to
leave
annoy
the
Matty.
peas.
Yeah.
And what's that stuff? The like mayonnaise tartar sauce.
Coleslaw.
Oh god, you got to laugh, haven't you? It's funny.
Yeah. For those who don't know and probably won't know, but Sud's favourite meal, he eats it every time we go out
here
for
we go.
food, is fish and
Here we
chips. And he leaves the
Oh, I'll
peas.
tell you what. I was in Chester a couple of days ago. I had a lovely fish and chips. I got to say, one of the nicest fish and chips I've ever had.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
it was
was that
delicious.
Manchester on Sunday?
It was what was it called? I can't remember what the restaurant was called,
But
but
it clearly didn't exist.
no, it did. It was called like it was something like Pulsver. It was a weird name in
What?
pub or restaurant.
It was what?
Yeah. It was like on the outskirts of Chester. It wasn't in Chester. It was nice though. It was like quite a posh, nice fish
Because
and
if
chips.
you're giving fish and chips a good
Pulsner or something,
then
yeah,
it's
something like
obviously
that.
a very good
Pulsner?
fish and chips because it's the only thing you eat.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you can find it, I'd definitely recommend it for fish and chips. But
Wait there.
I don't
wait
know.
there.
I mean,
We've gone off on a bit of a tangent. I want to first get the answer to the two humbugs. Perks and Matty, what's your favourite Christmas food? Because I know you
Food?
eat it. Yeah, you must have something at Christmas that you enjoy.
I'll just
When
say
it ends.
turkey.
oh dear.
How can you not like Christmas?
No, my favourite tradition
Christmas
at
is great.
Christmas is gaming.
Yeah.
It's not just because we're a gaming podcast.
No, that's a
Every
good
time
point.
I
That.
remember Christmas, I always remember gaming. At some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, actually,
Terrible game under the tree that I ended up hating.
I was going to say, is anyone actually getting any Christmas games this year?
Perks getting Red Dead.
Yeah, I'll pick up Red Dead.
I'm getting Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
I'm not getting anything. I've got most games that I want.
I'm looking forward to playing Assassin's Creed, actually.
God,
Good.
Yeah,
Matty, I remember back in Christmas. Do you remember when I went round to yours? Because where I was, I used to live next to your house, and we went round on Christmas Day. But what game did we play? Can't even remember.
I don't know.
I just
Obviously, it
always-
wasn't very good.
No, but I just remember having a laugh, and I can't remember what game it was. No.
It's gone.
It's one thing we're all going to be doing for sure anyway. We'll all be chipping into a game together, whether it's...
Yeah, and all
It's
the
a new
servers will be
game or-
going down.
Yeah,
It's the
right.
new Christmas tradition. Everyone trying to set up their
Yeah.
console.
The
at
little
same time.
Jimmies.
Little Jimmies. Mommy, set up Fortnite. I want to play now. Mission V-Bucks.
I'm sure there'll be loads of V-Bucks under the tree for kids this Christmas.
Epic are going to have the best Christmas ever.
Yeah, they'll be the
God,
ones
they
that have the
actually
best
are.
Christmas.
Hey,
All
Santa's
trimmings
going
and
to be
everything for them.
laughing this Christmas. All he's got to deliver is a load of codes. On
It'll be an easy Christmas for him.
It
Well,
will.
that's probably a good place to finish the show. We all obviously hope you have a good Christmas. Well, me and Sud definitely do.
If you can.
I don't wish that people have a bad Christmas. I just
You
know
just know
I
it's
will
gonna
have a
happen.
bad Christmas.
Yeah.
Don't listen to those two humbugs. Anyway, guys, where can people find you on social media? How about you, Stud?
Well, with me, it's just the Twitter. So it is
The Twitter.
Tense, but yeah, at the Twitter. as I like to say. It's at the Twitter. At the old Twitter. It's at David Tensford.
Perfect. And obviously, Perks, you don't go on social media that much anymore, so we'll bypass
it's
you.
there, but it's completely pointless to advertise it.
I've already told you last week at Corpse. Why are people following that Corpse? That is Perks.
You see, if people actually try and find me there, they're not gonna. So it's just getting people's hopes up.
I'm pretty sure there will be someone called at Corpse.
Yeah, but it's just not me.
Where can people find you, Matty?
Matty Cheatham, all one word, Twitter and Instagram. That's if you want to follow me for some reason, do it.
And there you go.
It's not going to happen.
A great reason.
Hopefully not.
Follow him after Christmas.
Did you ever get little Jimmy, by the way, coming at you with any constructive criticism or feedback of any sort?
No, I had someone on YouTube call me a little Jimmy, but that's about it.
I wonder who that was. I still wonder, who that was.
As you with a fake account.
It was clearly
It's Perks at Court.
Yeah.
Matty's a little Jimmy.
Hashtag 6 feet under.
Anyway, guys, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at LEL, LEL3Ds, add a 9 at the end on Instagram. And you can also find Checkpoint Reached on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at CheckReachPod. And we're also on YouTube, which is, we've changed it from Checkpoint Reached to Checkpoint Reached Podcast. So there we go. Yeah, as I said before, we hope you have a good Christmas. We'll be back towards the start of the new year. And also, guys, I hope you have a good Christmas. Best you can. Anyway, Perks and Mai.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. And Merry Christmas, Perkins and Matt. I'm sure Christmas will be great for you all.
Stop trying to big it up.
have yourself a
Best
merry
time of
little
year.
Christmas.
There you go. That's the perfect way to finish it. Have a good Christmas, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, you too. See you.
Yeah.